Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. Chapter 16, that's Shiva's incarnation as Yakasheshwara. Nandishvara said, O great sage, listen to the Yakasheshwara incarnation of Shiva that dispels the arrogance of the arrogant and lets the devotion of good flourish. For merely the powerful gods and the Daityas, motivated by the desire to gain their selfish ends, churned the milk ocean for achieving nectar. When the churning of the milk ocean started as the gods and demons wanted nectar, poison blazing as the fire of dissolution came out at first. Oh dear, at the sight of it, the gods and the Daityas were highly agitated and frightened. They fled from there immediately and sought refuge in Shiva. After seeing Shiva, the crest jewel of all the gods, all of them including Vishnu, devoutly bent their heads and bowed to Vishnu with devotion. Then the delighted Lord Shiva, favorably disposed to the devotees, quaffed off the terrible poison afflicting gods and asuras. The Lord retained obliquely the acute poison that he drank in his neck. He shone much thereby and became blue-necked. Released from the burning sensation of the poison, thanks to the blessings of Shiva, the gods and the asuras began to churn again. O sage, many gems came out of it, but O sage, it was the nectar that the gods and the Danavas prized much. Not the asuras, but the gods drank the nectar, thanks to the favor of Vishnu. Then a great battle ensued between them, inflicting pain on both. A mutual clash occurred between the gods and the Danavas, O sage. The moon was eclipsed by Rahu and fled in terror of Rahu. He went to the abode of Shiva, extremely agitated by fear, and sought Shiva's protection, saying, Protect me, O Lord, protect me. He bowed to the Lord and eulogized him. Lord Shiva, the bestower of protection to the good and favorably disposed to his devotees, wore the moon on his head as the latter had sought refuge. Then Rahu too came there. He bowed to and eulogized Lord Shiva with reverence by means of sweet words. Realizing his desire, Shiva fixed onto his neck his head then had been formerly cut off by Vishnu, and that was known as Ketu. Then the asuras were defeated by the gods in the battle. By drinking nectar, the gods had become powerful and gained victory. Deluded by Shiva's Maya, Vishnu and others became very haughty. Their strength began to take root and sprout within them. O sage, then Lord Shiva, the suppressor of arrogance, became a yaksha. He hastened to the place, O sage, where the gods were stationed. On seeing Vishnu and all other gods arrogant in their minds, Lord Shiva, the lord of yakshas and suppressor of arrogance, spoke. Yakasheshwara said, O ye gods, why have you all assembled here? What is your goal? Tell me the reason as I ask unto you. The gods said, O Lord, a terrible battle took place here, wherein all the asuras were killed. The few that remained fled away. We are great heroes and powerful slayers of the Daityas. How insignificant in strength are those Daityas in front of us. Nandishvara said, on hearing the arrogant words of those gods, Lord Shiva, the suppressor of arrogance in the form of Yaksha, said, Yakasheshwara said, O ye gods, you listen to my words with attention. I shall tell you the truth that will dispel arrogance. Do not be arrogant. There is another Lord who is the creator and annihilator. You have forgotten the great Lord. You boast too much, but you are devoid of strength. If you are proud and think that you know your strength to be great, O gods, split this blade of grass placed by me with your own weapons. Nandishvara said, saying this, Shiva in the form of Yaksha, the goal of the good, placed a blade of grass before them and dispelled their arrogance. Then Shiva and other gods, professing to be heroic, exerted their manliness and hurled their respective weapons. But the weapons of the gods were rendered fruitless before the power of Shiva, the destroyer of the arrogance of the deluded. Then a celestial voice arose that dispelled the surprise of the gods. O gods, this Yaksha is Shiva, who removes the arrogance of the arrogant. The Lord himself is the creator, sustainer, and annihilator. The living beings are powerful thanks only to his power, otherwise they are not powerful. Deluded by the power of his illusion, you have become arrogant and have not realized Lord Shiva, who is the very knowledge embodied. Hearing the celestial voice, they became divested of their arrogance. They had realized Yakasheshwara. They bowed to and eulogized him. The god said, O Lord of the gods, the dispeller of arrogance, O Yaksheshwara of great sports, O Lord, your Maya is wonderful. Even now we are deluded by this Maya of yours in the form of Yaksha. Hence, separated from you, we begin to speak arrogantly before you. O Lord, thanks to your grace, alone knowledge has dawned on us. O Shiva, you alone are the creator, sustainer, and annihilator, none else. You alone are the initiator and the withdrawer of all powers. You are Lord of all, the great soul, the unchanging, and the unrivaled. In the form of Yaksheshwara, you have removed our arrogance. With sympathy and kindness, we think we have been blessed by you. Then the Yakshanta blessed the gods, enlightened them with various instructions, and vanished there itself. Thus has been described the pleasant incarnation of Shiva called Yaksheshwara that bestows pleasure, satisfaction, and protection of the good. The narrative is sacred. It dispels all arrogance. It bestows peace, worldly pleasure, and salvation upon all good men. The intelligent man who listens to or narrates this with devotion attains all desires. Then he attains salvation. Chapter 17, that's the incarnations of Shiva. Nandikeshwara said, now listen to the first 10 incarnations of Shiva, beginning with that of Mahakal. They are resorted to with devotion and explained in Upasanakanda. The first incarnation that is that of Mahakal, the bestower of worldly pleasures and liberation to the good. Shakti there is Mahakali, who bestows the desired fruits on the devotees. The second incarnation is called Tar. Shakti there is Tara. Both of them confer worldly pleasures and salvation on their attendants. The Lord of the worlds, called Baal, is glorified as the third incarnation. Shakti there is Shiva, that bestows pleasure on the good. Sri Videsa Sodasa is the fourth incarnation, and Sri Vidya Shiva Sodasi is the Shakti. They confer pleasure on the devotees and yield worldly pleasures as well as salvation. The fifth incarnation is famous as Bhairava, who bestows desires on the devotees. Shakti there is Bhairavi, who bestows desire on good worshippers. The sixth incarnation of Shiva is glorified as Chin Namastaka, who confers desire. Shakti there is Dhumavati, who bestows all desires on the devotees. The seventh incarnation of Shiva is Dhumavan, the bestower of fruits of all desires. Shakti here is Dhumavati, who bestows all desires on the good worshippers. The eighth pleasant incarnation of Shiva is Bagalamukha. Shakti there is Bagalamukhi, who is also famous as Mahananda. The ninth incarnation of Shiva is glorified as Matanga. Shakti there is Matangi, who bestows the fruits of all desires. The 10th incarnation of Shiva is Kamala, the bestower of fruits of worldly pleasures and salvation. Shakti there is Kamala, the protectress of her own devotees. The 10 incarnations of Shiva are pleasing as they confer worldly pleasures and salvation. They bestow everything on good devotees. These 10 incarnations of Shiva, the great soul, bestow different kinds of pleasure on those who always resort to them without aberrations. O sage, the glory of the 10 incarnations of Shiva has thus been described. It bestows all desires as explained in the Tantrastra and other treatises. O sage, the greatness of these Shaktis too is wonderful. It bestows all desires and shall be known as explained in Tantrastra and other treatises. The different Shaktis are considered in such activities as destroying enemies, etc. They punish the wicked and enhance Brahmanical splendor. O Brahmin, thus I have explained to you the 10 incarnations of Shiva along with his Shakti, beginning with Mahakal. They are all auspicious. He who reads this sacred narrative during the festivals of Shiva with great devotion becomes a great favorite of Shiva. A Brahmin attains the sacred splendor of Brahman. Kshatriya becomes victorious, a Vaishya becomes lord of wealth, and a Shudra attains happiness. The devotees of Shiva, maintaining their respective duties and listening to this narrative, become especially happy and devoted to Shiva. That's the end for the reading today. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj.